Hey everyone, congratulations. If you were watching this, more than likely you recently got engaged, or perhaps you know someone who did. Either way, this is a very exciting time, but I know that this is also very overwhelming. But don't worry, my name is Jody. I'm a professional wedding planner based out of the Pacific Northwest, and I am here to help and give you a little bit of guide into the first steps after becoming engaged. So grab your partner and let's dive in. First things first, celebrate. Don't just immediately dive into the wedding planning and details. That is how you get overwhelmed very quickly. You want to make sure that you are starting off on a good foundation. So first, just enjoy yourself. Enjoy this time. Inform all of your friends and family of your engagement and just enjoy it for a little bit, and then we'll get into the craziness. Now that you've enjoyed your engagement, it's time to decide what kind of wedding you want to have. So sit down with your partner and have a really deep conversation about what type of wedding. Do you do you strive to have a very large wedding with a lot of guests? Do you want it to be very small and intimate? Do you want to elope and have a destination wedding? Do you want to have a large hometown wedding? Whose hometown? You or your partner's? Or perhaps you want it where you are living now. It could also be a destination wedding domestically instead of internationally. So there are just a million different options to choose from, but it's great to have a conversation with your partner and figure out what type of wedding you want first, because that is going to determine the next steps of setting your budget and your guest list. Next, you'll want to start setting a budget. Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult because you're going to have to sit down and have some difficult conversations with some of your family, but it needs to happen, and we need to come up with a dollar amount of what we're wanting to spend. If it's just you and your partner that are contributing to the wedding and paying for everything, well, then you need to decide what the max amount that you feel comfortable spending on your wedding is. If you have any family members, parents, grandparents, or anyone that is also contributing to the wedding, you need to come up and find out what dollar amount they are able to contribute, not just aspects. So if your family says, well, we can pay for your photographer and your catering, that's great. However, even those items have a very large range of prices, so it can be kind of difficult to know exactly how much that means when it's just items. So it's like, well, okay, great. Can I do a photographer on a high end and maybe a caterer on moderate? So, and also keep in mind that when your parents got married, pricing was completely different. So they may have a completely different idea of how much things cost than compared to what they actually cost. So actually try to have a conversation about dollar amount and not so much of what they are paying for. Next, you want to pick a date or at least a season for your wedding. This is going to determine a lot of the decisions moving forward. So it's going to be very, very helpful to know what style of wedding you want. Do you want a beautiful summer wedding or perhaps a winter wedding? This is going to help to decide how much of a time frame you have for planning. Another factor when picking your date is your friends and family that are coming in from out of town. Obviously, if you have a lot coming in from out of town, having a date that is on a weekend date was obviously going to be a lot easier for everybody when it comes to traveling. Now, holiday weekends are even easier for people. However, it might not be easier for you when planning because a lot of venues and vendors will actually charge premium on holiday weekends because they're more desirable. And then, of course, the last thing you want to get started on is your guest list. This is imperative to know exactly how large of a wedding you're going to have so that you know what size venue is going to be needed to be able to accommodate all of your guests. So both of you sit down, start piling up all of those names and see where it comes out to. Then you can easily start narrowing it down from there to get to the ideal size that you want for your wedding. After you've done all those steps, you are ready to start contacting some venues and some vendors. I highly recommend that if you are looking into getting a wedding planner that you do that first, because a wedding planner is going to be able to help you find the perfect venue that is going to fit your needs, your budget, your guest count, everything. They're really going to help guide you through the entire process to help you make the best decisions for your wedding day. If you are not able to afford a wedding planner, which I completely understand, it is kind of a luxury, I do highly recommend getting a coordinator for your wedding. That way you can ensure that your wedding day is perfect in every way and that you can truly enjoy it as a couple. And there you have it, the first steps after getting engaged. Be sure to celebrate, take your time with planning, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more wedding tips and advice. Until next time, see you later.